You always order the same thing, said Cassie, sliding the cup across the counter with both hands, chin tucked down, eyes glancing up, a half smile that dared him and asked permission at the same time. Ethan looked down at the cup the way he did every morning to read his name written in marker. But this time under his name, there was a full line, and under the line 10 digits, so that one day you'll order something different. He read it quietly, almost to himself, because the words slipped out before his brain decided if he was ready for them. Did you read it okay? She said. Cassie, this is a number. It is. Mine doesn't bite. No, I know it's a number, it's just that, what? She tilted her head. Nobody's ever given you a number on a cup before. Welcome to the century. It's like a business card, but with fewer dead trees. That's not it. 5 months. Ethan laughed, quietly nervous. 5 months watching you order exactly the same thing at the same time. One day I thought either I go for it or this guy is going to drink the same coffee until one of us retires. I'm not a guy. Sorry, he gave a small bow with the coffee pot in his hand. Better. Or worse. They both laughed, and for a second, the noise of the cafe, the machine releasing steam, the spoons against the ceramic, the glass door swinging open toward the station across the street, all of it went distant. Look, she said, and right there her confidence slipped just enough for him to see that she was nervous too. You don't have to say anything right now. I mean it. I just wanted you to have it, in case one day you feel like ordering something different. A muffin, a tea, anything. Something else. I do like the same thing. Nobody orders the same thing for 5 months because they like it. You order the same thing for other reasons. I read people all day. It's the one thing I'm actually good at. And you, out of everyone who comes through here, you're the one who hides the worst that he's hiding. Do I act that badly? You act great. Total professional face. Relaxed jacket pressed. Great coffee, 10 out of 10. She lowered her voice. But you order that black coffee like someone gripping a handrail, and you can't press that. Ethan opened his mouth. Behind him, a man in a suit cleared his throat. A young woman was checking her phone, tapping the floor with her shoe. There's a line, Cassie said, stepping toward the register. Think about it or don't think about it, because sometimes that's worse. Have a nice day, Ethan. Cassie? Yeah. Thanks for the coffee. That's what I do every day. She was already taking the next order. Professional again. Thanks for the coffee. Someday you'll thank me for something else. I have faith. Ethan walked out. The little bell over the door rang behind him. He crossed to the station with the cup in his hand and her number on the cup burning his palm more than the coffee. He stopped on the sidewalk in the middle of the river of people who look at no one and laughed to himself in disbelief. A man who had just been caught off guard after 5 months of thinking he was the one in control of the game. He looked at the cup again. 10 digits so that one day you'll order something different. And in the inside pocket of his jacket folded into fourths, a piece of paper that weighed much more. A relocation contract to another city to be signed on Friday. 4 days left. Nobody in that cafe knew, Cassie least of all. Ethan tucked the empty cup into his jacket pocket with care, as if it might break. He hadn't drunk the coffee. He kept the cup, the number her handwriting. He went down to the platform. He let 2 trains go by and arrived late to work for the first time in months. That night, Ethan set the cup on the kitchen table with the 10 digits facing up and called his sister because he didn't know who else to call. Becca, did something happen? Something good or something yours? What kind of question is that? An honest one with you. They don't always match. Tell me. The girl at the coffee shop, the one at the counter. Ethan ran a hand over his face. She wrote her number on my cup with a note, that one day I'd order something different. From the other end, there was a 3-second silence, then a scream that Ethan had to hold the phone away from his ear. Oh, finally! 5 months talking to me about the coffee shop, the coffee shop, the coffee shop, and it was about the girl at the coffee shop. I knew it. I told Mom. You didn't tell Mom anything. I said Ethan likes someone and doesn't realize it. Word for word. It's not like that. Ethan, you told me 3 times that she remembers that Mom's foot hurts. 3! Who remembers a woman's foot that they've never even met? Nobody. You don't even remember your boss's birthday. That's different. It's exactly the same, just with your heart somewhere else. Becca lowered her voice. Are you going to call her? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? It's a number. You dial it. You press little buttons. It's not that simple. Ethan. His sister sighed and her voice went soft. That voice he had known since they were kids, the one from when the lights went out and she'd tell him stories so he wouldn't be scared. Do you remember when I told you that you confuse being calm with being hidden? I remember. I didn't like it. The truth doesn't have to be liked, she paused. You're like the good dishes, brother, the ones nobody uses because they're afraid of breaking them. And sitting in that cupboard, you know what happens. They crack on their own from not being used. Nobody breaks them. They break themselves from boredom. Ethan looked at the cup. He didn't answer right away. Becca, is there something I haven't told you? What, that they offered you the position, the one in another city, regional director? The one you wanted? The one I was supposed to want. Yeah? So what does that have to do with the girl at the coffee shop? The signing is Friday, and Monday I'd already be there. Another silence. This one longer. Oh, Ethan, said Becca at last, only you. Only you take 5 months for someone to really see you, and just when it finally happens, you've already got your ticket out in your pocket. That's why I'm not calling her. What would I say? Thanks for 5 months of coffee and goodbye, I'm moving? Starting something just to disappear a week later is cruel. So you've already decided you're going? I decided before the cup. The cup doesn't count for anything. Ethan didn't know what to say. The cup counted. The cup counted so much that he didn't dare touch it. And to understand why, you had to understand what he was hiding from. He wasn't shy. At the office he spoke, in meetings presented numbers, argued with vendors without his voice shaking. It was something else. At some point in the last few years, he had decided that life was easier to bear if you kept it small. Ordered. Predictable. Home office coffee train. 4 points in a straight line between them, nothing that hurt because nothing moved. Still there? Asked Becca. Still here. Okay, tell me one thing. When she wrote the number, what did you feel? Not what you thought. What did you feel in your body? Fear. Fear of what? That it might be real. That someone might want me close and I wouldn't know how to be close. Ethan. Becca was quiet for a moment. That doesn't get fixed by running to another city. It gets fixed by staying and learning. It hurts just the same, but at the end you have someone. And if I ruin it, you're going to ruin it 1,000 times. Everyone ruins the people they love. That's part of the deal. But at least you'll be there to fix it. In the other city, there'll be nothing to ruin. When you say it like that, it sounds easy. It's not easy. It's simple, which is different. She yawned. Think about it with the cup in front of you, not the contract. See which one feels heavier in your hand. Good night, Ethan. Good night, Becca. Use yourself before you crack. The first time, 5 months ago, had been pure chance. A delayed train, half an hour, to kill a glass door, a hand-painted sign that said Station Coffee. Ethan walked in and ordered a black coffee, and the girl at the counter, without really looking at him yet, said, Bad news on the phone right now. Sorry, you've got the look of an email you didn't want to open. She set the cup in front of him. This one's on the house. Mondays with canceled trains don't get charged. How do you know it was the train? Because the whole line has the same face. It's a gift. I read people. It's the one thing I'm good at. She smiled. Cassie. Ethan. Pretty name for someone with that Monday face. The next day, the train wasn't delayed, and still he walked in at 8, and the day after that, and that's how it grew in crumbs. 40 seconds a morning. Yesterday you said your mom's foot was bothering her, she let slip one Tuesday while he waited. How is she? She looked up the machine releasing steam between them. You remembered that? You said it really fast between orders, but But yeah, still stubborn, won't go to the doctor. Says her foot will heal on its own like everything. She set the cup in front of him and held on a half-second longer before letting go. Nobody remembers what I say between orders. It's like talking to steam. I remember. I noticed. That's strange. Strange bad, strange good, the kind that barely exists anymore. Another morning the line was short and they got a full minute. Hey, she asked. Why always a black coffee? We have like 30 things on the menu. We have a mocha that'll make you cry. The black coffee is fine. Fine, that's not a compliment for a coffee. That's what you say about a movie you forgot halfway through. It's efficient, coffee, no frills, no sugar. Wakes me up, that's it. Uh-huh. Cassie narrowed her eyes, playing at examining him. Translation. You don't want to make any decisions before 8 in the morning. You order the same thing so you don't waste a single decision on yourself. That's a lot of analysis for a $2 coffee. $2 coffees say the most. People let their guard down in line. They think they're invisible. She handed him the cup. But I see all of them. There was a rainy morning when he arrived soaked because his umbrella had blown away on the train, and she, without asking, put the black coffee in front of him and also a blueberry muffin he hadn't ordered. I didn't order this. I know, it's on me. Why? Because the house treats you when life gets you wet. She shrugged. And because you look like nobody spoils you, somebody has to start. Eat it before it gets soggy on the platform. Do you always feed the sad customers? You're not sad, Ethan. You're tucked away. It's different. She turned back to the machine. The sad ones leave. The tucked away ones stay at the same time every day to see if someone pulls them out. He took the muffin without arguing. He ate it under the awning watching the rain, and it tasted better than anything had in weeks. One morning she wasn't there. A new guy, clumsy, handed him a black coffee that was cold and had sugar in it. Ethan didn't complain. He drank it the same way on the platform, and it tasted like nothing. The next day she was back. You weren't here yesterday, he said, and it surprised him how much it mattered to say it. I took my mom to the doctor. Finally, I practically had to carry her. She looked at him. Did you miss me, or are you complaining about the cold coffee? Both. She laughed, surprised that he dared. Save that honesty. One day you're going to need it in full. One Thursday, the line was dead, and they got a full 2 minutes. Hey, she said, leaning on the counter. I've been writing your name on a cup for 5 months, and I don't know anything about you. What do you do, Ethan, the 8 o'clock guy? Numbers, financial analysis. I balance what other people throw off. Oh, so you're the one who says no when someone asks for more budget. I'm the one who says how much it costs to say yes. How romantic, she laughed. And you live nearby? About 40 minutes by train. Small apartment. Tidy. Tidy? You say that like you're showing off, but to me it sounds empty. It's tidy because nothing happens in it to mess it up. Ethan, Cassie looked at him, somewhere between teasing and tender. That's the most depressing thing I've heard at this counter. And people cry here for real. It's not sad, it's practical. It's incredibly sad. With excellent posture. She handed him the cup. One day, I'm going to mess up your apartment. That's a threat. Another morning, she arrived with red eyes, and this time he was the one reading. Are you okay? A customer yelled at me, said his coffee took too long, that nobody here knows how to do their job, the usual. She shrugged, but her chin was trembling. You think you get used to it, and then you don't. What was his name? Why do you want to know? So I never give him sugar for the rest of his life. She let out a short laugh, surprised, and wiped one eye on her shoulder. Ethan, that was a joke. You, at 8 in the morning. It slipped out. Let more slip out. They suit you. She took a breath. Better, thanks. Really nobody in this line asks if I'm okay? They ask if their coffee is ready. I ask both, in that order. I noticed, she said, and this time she held his gaze a beat longer. Another morning he came in a bad mood, and it was her turn to play detective. Oh, rough one today. I'm fine. I'm fine with that face. That's a lie you don't even believe yourself. Early meeting, a report that doesn't balance, and a boss who thinks sleep is optional. See, you weren't fine. You were terrible in a nice tie. She put the black coffee in front of him, and beside it, a small cup of water. Drink the water first. People who are angry usually just need water and haven't figured it out. You read that too, Fun? I learned it serving. Half the people who yell are just thirsty or tired. The other half are scared. She looked at him. You're one of the scared ones. But you're also the kind that still says thank you. Very rare. Ethan drank the water and sure enough felt less angry. How do you do it? He asked. What? See people that way, complete in 40 seconds. I don't know, it was always my thing. When I was a kid, I could tell what kind of mood my dad was in by how he closed the door. She shrugged. The bad part is you spend your whole life reading everyone else and nobody reads you. Like being the mirror. Everybody looks at themselves in you and nobody looks at you. I look at you. It slipped out again, and this time neither of them pretended it hadn't. I know Ethan, she said quietly. That's why I write your name nicer than the others. Another morning she was laughing to herself when she received him. What are you laughing at? You. I made a bet with Marcus, the register guy. What time you'd come in? I said 8 sharp. He said 8:02. You walked in at exactly 8. I won a donut. You bet on me every day? You're the cafe's clock. When you walk in, Marcus already knows there are 2 minutes until the 8:10 train. He laughed. You're more punctual than the trains, Ethan, and that's their only job. That sounds like I'm boring. That sounds like you're dependable. It's different. She put the cup in front of him. The problem is you use dependable to hide. You're so predictable, you've made yourself invisible. Nobody watches a clock. They just obey it. And you watch me. I watch the clock, and I wonder who wound it. Who is he? Does he sleep well? Does anyone wait for him at home? She lowered her voice. I still don't know the answer, but I've had the question for 5 months. You could just ask me. I'm asking you, Ethan, every morning with the cup. The one who doesn't answer is you. He took the coffee without answering again, and that morning on the platform he stood there, thinking that she was right. He had spent 5 months receiving the same question and returning the same polite silence, wrapped in a thanks, Cassie. Another morning she shared her dream almost without meaning to. I don't want to stay here forever, she said, gesturing at the cafe with her chin. This is a stopover. Like the trains. People come in, grab their coffee, run off. Nobody sits down. And what do you want? A little place of my own. Real plants, not plastic. Deep couches, old, good ones, the kind you sink into, where people sit down and stay, not a coffee shop you pass through, one you stay in. She handed him the cup. Sounds silly. Sounds like the opposite of my life. And what is your life like? A stopover, he said, and she laughed without knowing how much truth was in it. Then change it. It's yours. It's not that simple. That's what all the stopover people say, Cassie winked at him. The stay a while people say something else. 40 seconds a day, sometimes 30. Sometimes when the line was short, a whole minute. It was the best part of the day for both of them, even though neither dared name it, because naming it meant risking it. What Ethan didn't know was that Cassie had already decided to stop keeping it small. And what Cassie didn't know was that Ethan had just had a deadline dropped on him. The offer had come 3 weeks before the cup. His manager closed the office door and sat on the edge of the desk. Cardwell, I'm going to give you news that'll change your year. Regional director, another city, more money, your own office, company car, the position people work 10 years for. That's a lot. That's everything. The company is betting on you. Think it over the weekend. But between us, there's not much to think about. Nobody says no to this. When would I have to move? Signing would be in 3 weeks. A Friday and Monday you'd already be there. Fast, yeah, but clean. You start from zero. Start from zero, Ethan repeated. Sounds good, right? New city, clean slate. Nobody knows you, nobody owes you anything, nobody ties you down. Pure work. And there it was, what his boss thought was the best part, and what Ethan, without knowing quite why, felt pressing down on his chest. Starting from zero. Making his life small and straight again in a place where nobody knew him. Another board, home office coffee train, 4 clean new points with no one guessing his day at 8 in the morning. Why me? Ethan asked. Because you're the most reliable I've got. Never late, never fails, never a problem. Punctual like a clock. That's the kind of person you send to open up a new location. Reliable. That's a compliment, right? The best I give. I know, it's just that lately everyone's been telling me the same thing. That I'm reliable, punctual, dependable. Ethan almost laughed. Nobody ever says anything else. What else would you want them to say? In this business, dependable is gold. I don't know. I'm starting to think that dependable also means predictable. And predictable means nobody really sees you anymore. They just take you for granted. His boss looked at him, not quite understanding. Cardwell, are you okay? I offer you the job of your life and you give me philosophy. I'm fine. Sorry, it's early. I'll think about it. Think about it, but not too long. The people who think too much are the ones who stay stuck. The ones who go far get on the train when it comes. That night, Ethan called Becca before the any of it. What if I don't accept? He asked. What do you mean, don't accept? This is what you wanted. You've been complaining for years about being stuck. It's what I was supposed to want. Wait, what do you want now? Ethan went quiet. There's something, or someone, said Becca. I know you. That silence is different from your other silences. There's a girl at a coffee shop. Nothing's happened. I don't even know her last name. I just see her every morning, and it's the best part of my day. The best part of your day? Did you hear what you just said? It's a coffee shop, Becca. No, sir. People don't rearrange their morning routine for a coffee shop. They rearrange it for a person. She paused. You're going to get to that new city, and in a year you're going to have another coffee shop, another counter, another girl you don't say anything to for 5 months. That's the life plan. Collecting coffees you don't drink. Don't be dramatic. I'm exactly as dramatic as the situation calls for. Good dishes crack in the cupboard too, Ethan. I've already told you that, and I'll keep telling you until you use one. Ethan signed the letter of intent that same week. The final signing was set for Friday, in HR at 10 in the morning. He folded the contract into fourths and put it in the inside pocket of his jacket and kept going to the coffee shop at 8 every morning ordering the same thing. Now with a deadline over it all like a slow drip. Each coffee, one less. He counted them without wanting to. 10, 9, 8. One of those mornings with 7 coffees left, he almost told her. Hey, Cassie, I wanted to tell you something. Tell me. He looked at her, the denim apron, the lock of hair always out of place, the smile ready for whoever was next in line. And he couldn't. Telling her meant turning the coffee into a goodbye, and he didn't want it to be a goodbye. He wanted it to stay what it was, safe, the thing that doesn't break. The coffee's really good today, he said. It's really good again. Ethan, one day you're going to say a complete sentence to me, and I'm going to have a heart attack. If you only knew, he thought, and walked away. 5 coffees left. She told him one morning as she was putting his cup in front of him. You know what I like about you? You're the only person in line who says goodbye. Everyone else grabs their coffee and walks out like I'm just another machine. But you always say thanks, Cassie, with my name. It's the least I can do. It's not the least. It's the rare thing. The least is what the others do. She held his gaze. That's why I went for it. If you ever wonder why it was the name. Because you call me by my name. Ethan lost his breath for a second. He had 4 coffees left on the countdown and a contract in his pocket, and this girl had just said the nicest thing anyone had said to him in years. And he couldn't say anything back that wasn't a lie or a goodbye. "Thank you, Cassie," he said, because it was the only true thing that fit in his mouth. "See?" she smiled. "Exactly that." Tuesday, the day after the cup. Ethan went at 8 like always. He got in line with his heart beating strangely, rehearsing things to say that he didn't say. When he reached the counter, Cassie greeted him with a smile that had something new in it, a live question behind her eyes. "Good morning," she said carefully. "The usual." And there was the opening, the counter clear, the question asked, the number waiting in his pocket. He just had to say no, something different today. "The usual," said Ethan. He saw Cassie's smile dim 1 degree, not disappear. She was good at that. But he had known her in 40-second increments for 5 months, and he saw it. "1 black coffee, no sugar to go," she said, turning her back to him. When she put the cup in front of him, there was nothing written under his name, just his name. "Have a nice day, Cassie." She had 10 things on the tip of her tongue. One came out. "I kept the number. I didn't throw it away." She stopped the cloth in her hand. "But you didn't call." "No." "Then keeping it doesn't count." Ethan said it gently without bitterness, and that made it hurt more. A number kept but not called is the same as a good dish kept and not used. Pretty in the drawer, useless. "It's complicated, I guess," she said. "Yeah, I figured." She gave him a small smile. "You're welcome for the coffee." She walked out with the worst coffee of her life in her hand, and Cassie's words embedded in her. A dish kept and not used, the same image Becca had used in another voice the same day, like the world had gotten together to tell him one single thing. Wednesday, he almost didn't go. He stood on the sidewalk across from the coffee shop on the station side, looking at the glass door. He almost went down to the platform without going in. But he couldn't. He went in late when the line had emptied out and Cassie was cleaning the machine. "I thought you weren't coming today," she said without fully turning. "I got held up." "You don't get held up. You're the 8 o'clock guy. I could set the clock on the wall by you." She dried her hands on her denim apron and finally looked at him straight on. "I put my foot in it with the cup, didn't I? If I made you uncomfortable, throw it out. No big deal. People order the same thing for all kinds of reasons, and I shouldn't have assumed anything." "You didn't put your foot in it." "You sure? Because you've had the look of an email you didn't want to open for 2 days, and I can read that face from the door." Ethan almost laughed at how close she had landed. "It's nothing you did," he said. "The opposite. It was the best thing that's happened to me in a long time." That's a strange way to celebrate the best thing that happened to you. Normal people smile. You've got a funeral face with nice weather. "It's complicated, Cassie." She nodded slowly, and the people reader read him again. And this time what she read hurt her, because he could see it hurting. "Complicated," she repeated. "Yeah, most good things are." She paused. "Look, I'm not going to push. That's not who I am. I've done my part. I wrote the number. That was my act of courage for the year. Don't ask me for 2. She gave a small laugh without heart. "If one day you feel like ordering something else, I'll be here at 8. And if not, well, I learned something." "What did you learn?" "That I was brave once." She shrugged, but her voice came out sideways. "That's not nothing. Most people come through here and don't even get that." "Cassie, it's not that I don't want to. I know it's not that you don't want to. That's the worst of it, Ethan. If you didn't want to, it'd be easy. I'd see it on your face. You'd go and I'd be fine. But you do want to. You've got it written all over you, and you still don't ask? That I can't fix. I put the number out there. The rest is yours." "What if I told you there's something you don't know? Something that makes it complicated?" "Then tell me. Let's see if it's really that complicated." He looked at her with the whole truth sitting in his throat. The transfer, the Friday, the Monday train. And again he pulled back. "I can't. Not yet." Oh, Ethan, she sighed, and it wasn't anger, it was exhaustion, which is worse. You know what my grandmother used to say to my grandfather when he stalled? The one who waits for perfect ends up with empty. Think about it. Rest well. That night, Ethan talked to his sister again. I had the perfect moment. The place empty, her asking me directly, and I said it was complicated. Ethan, I know. No, you don't know. Listen, 2 days left. 2. Are you really going to get on a train to another city and make the same 4 points as always, just to avoid telling a girl you like her? If I tell her and leave, I hurt her. If you leave without telling her, you hurt her too, just also yourself. And me, because I'll have to listen to you be depressed over the phone for the next 10 years. Her voice softened. Pick a pain that at least has a door open at the end. The other pain leads nowhere. You've already tried it. You've been in that pain for years. And if she says no, then you know, and you heal and move on. But at least you asked. You know what's worse than a no, Ethan? What? I never knew. That no heals. That one stays. It's not that simple, Becca. It's not just asking her to be my girlfriend. I'm leaving. Even if she says yes, I'm on a train Monday. And who says you have to get on it? The contract. I already turned in my notice on the apartment. The movers are booked. Ethan, listen carefully. A work contract can be declined. A lease can be renegotiated. A move can be canceled and you lose the deposit. That's it. All of it has a fix. You know what has no fix? Finding someone who, at 8 in the morning, actually sees you whole. That's not something you renegotiate. You can't get that back by calling a customer service number. You say it like it's obvious. Because it is obvious. The only thing making it hard is you trying to fit it into your tidy little life. Love doesn't fit in boxes. That's why it's scary. That's why it's worth it. When did you get so wise? I always was. You were too busy being punctual, she laughed. Go to sleep. Tomorrow, do something that's not on your schedule. Just once. Thursday night, Ethan didn't sleep. He had half-packed boxes in the living room. The contract on the table next to the paper cup, and between both things the paper sending him away, and the cup holding him there. He spent the hours deciding nothing and deciding everything. He pulled out his phone about 10 times, typed in her number, deleted it. Started texts. Hi, this is Ethan, the 8 o'clock guy. Delete. Sorry about Wednesday. Delete. I need to tell you something important. Delete. What if I told you I'm leaving Monday? Delete, delete, delete. None of them said what needed to be said, because what needed to be said didn't fit in a message. It fit in a face at the counter. At 8. He called Becca at 1 in the morning. Do you know what time it is? She answered half asleep. 1. Sorry. Don't even apologize. This is better than sleeping. You've decided. I don't know. Tell me what to do. No, sir, not this. You decide this or it means nothing. Becca, for real. I have the contract here on the table. I sign it, get on the train, and in 3 months I won't remember any of this. That's the sensible thing. Then why haven't you signed it? You've had it for weeks. A sensible man would have signed it the first day. Because I don't want to. Say it. Because I don't want to. There we go. 3 weeks for that sentence. Becca laughed, tired. Ethan, do you know how many times in your life someone really sees you? The times that count. I've had 40 years and I can count them on one hand. You don't waste those. You can sign anything before wasting that. And the job, the career, the job will give you other promotions. Promotions are everywhere. What's not everywhere is a girl who at 8 in the morning guesses your whole day and decides to wait around for a lovable coward to work up the nerve. I'm not a coward. You're the bravest coward I know. You present in meetings, you push back on vendors, but you're terrified of someone loving you up close. And you know why? Because up close they can leave. From a distance, they can't. From a distance, you're safe. She softened her voice. But from a distance, you're also alone, brother, all tidied up and alone. Ethan said nothing. From the other end, his sister waited, then breathed in. I'm going to ask you one thing, and then I'm hanging up. Close your eyes. In which of the two cities do you see yourself a year from now ordering something different? Don't answer me. Answer yourself. Good night, brother. And she hung up. Ethan sat with the phone in his hand and the question going around in his head. He pictured the new city, his own office, the company car, a fresh apartment, home office train. The small, straight life again now with a better salary. A clean, quiet place to be again. A good dish in a cupboard. And then he pictured the other thing. Not a great movie-style life, a very small one, almost laughably small. Mornings, many mornings, where he ordered something different and she'd laugh and say, finally, about time, a little place with real plants and deep couches, a coffee shop you stay in. Someone who guessed his day before he said it out loud. Every day. Until they were old. He got up, put water on to boil, and at the table next to the unsigned contract, he started writing on a napkin what he was going to say. Because a man who had spent years risking nothing was not going to trust himself to wing it the one time it really mattered. He crossed out a lot. Wrote and crossed out and wrote. In the end, one sentence remained. He read it out loud in the empty kitchen to see if it would come out without trembling. I've been ordering the same thing for years, and it's not because of the coffee. It didn't come out without trembling. He read it again and again until the trembling became part of the sentence and stopped scaring him. Until he understood that the sentence was always going to tremble and that was okay. That the things that matter are said trembling. He put the napkin in one pocket, the contract in the other, the cup with her number in his hand. At 6 in the morning, he was already dressed. The signing was at 10 at the HR office on the other side of the city. The coffee shop opened at 7. He had time to do both things. He just knew he wasn't going to do both. Friday, 7:58 in the morning. Ethan pushed open the glass door and the little bell rang. The cafe was packed. The usual line, the usual steam. The trains across the street swallowing people the usual. Cassie was at the counter, fast, precise, handing out good mornings to strangers. She saw him come in and glanced at the wall clock out of habit. 8:02. The 8 o'clock regular, right on time, like a train. Ethan, she said between orders, almost your time. The usual? Not today, he said. The words came out louder than he meant, and a couple of people in line turned around. Cassie froze with the pot halfway up. No, not today. Ethan breathed. He thought of the napkin but didn't pull it out of his pocket. He didn't need it anymore. Today, I want something different. He set on the counter between them the relocation contract folded into fourths, corners worn from carrying it around. What is that? She asked. A promotion, another city, more money, my own office, everything a person is supposed to want. It was being signed today at 10. Ethan, let me finish. I rehearsed this all night, and if you interrupt me, I'll lose it. He laughed nervous, and his voice shook right where he knew it was going to shake. The whole line had gone quiet without noticing. That's why I didn't call your number. Not because I didn't want to. I've wanted to for 5 months. I didn't call because I was leaving and I wasn't going to give you a beginning that already had an end date on it. You were going to leave without telling me anything? That was the plan. A very tidy, very cowardly plan. He pushed the contract to the edge of the counter, away from both of them. I've been ordering the same thing for years, Cassie. And it's not because of the coffee. It's because the same thing doesn't shake in your hands. The same thing is safe. And I got used to safe until a girl wrote 10 digits on a cup and told me to order something different. And what are you going to order now? She whispered. I'm not signing this. I'm staying. Ethan swallowed. And what I want to order, if it's still available, is not on the menu. The cafe was silent. Someone in the back murmured, "Oh, say yes." And another voice further back, "Say yes, girl. We've been watching you two for months." Cassie let out a wet laugh. She lowered the pot slowly. Her eyes were full, and her smile was fighting her urge to cry. The 8 o'clock regular, she said, her voice cracking, actually ordering something different, and here I was about to give up hope. Is the number still available? The number was always available, you goof. She wiped her cheeks with the back of her wrist, no shame in front of the whole line. You just had to ask for it. It's a yes. It's a, you took 5 months and 4 days, but yes. For the record, he said, I didn't take 5 months to decide. I decided around day 3. I took 5 months to work up the nerve. That's different. Worse, she laughed through tears. 3 days! And you made me wait out of fear. Out of habit. The fear was already there before you. You just gave it a name. And now what? Are you going to keep ordering black coffee? Never again. I hate that coffee. Me too. 5 months keeping that to myself. She wiped her face. 1 black coffee, as if the menu were decorative. Then show me something better. You know this stuff. I only know how to hide behind the same thing. Deal, but I pick and you drink it without complaining. Even if it has cinnamon? Cinnamon, trust me. I read people. I know what coffee fits who, she smiled at him. And you need something warm and sweet that takes a long time to go cold. Like you when you finally let go. Ethan came around the counter. Nobody protested. Nobody was in a hurry anymore, even though the trains across the street kept running on schedule. And there, between the steam and the ceramic cups and the people who were smiling as if the good morning had finally become everyone's good, he hugged her and she laughed against his shoulder, and someone applauded, and the machine kept releasing steam, and nobody cared about the coffee. You're going to be late to your signing, she said in his ear. I'm not going to the signing. You sure? It's your career, Ethan. Don't throw that away for a coffee or for me. I don't want to carry that. I'm not throwing it away for a coffee. I'm trading it for a place to stay. He pulled back just enough to see her. And you're not carrying anything. I decided this last night, with the cup in one hand and the contract in the other. The cup won. By a lot. And if in 6 months you regret it, if one day you look at me and think about the office you didn't take, Cassie took his face in both hands. I've been in the office I did take, the apartment I did rent, the life I did choose. And I woke up every morning just across the street so you could guess my day. That was the real part. Everything else was the waiting room. She laughed and cried and both came out at the same time. Are you crazy? That's what my boss said. It's the 2nd time I've heard that today, and it's not even 9. Well, welcome to Crazy, Ethan. Here we serve decent coffee and complete life messes. Does the mess come with the latte, or is it extra? For you, the house treats you, she squeezed his hand. It always treated you. You just had to come in and stay. And even though trains kept passing outside, swallowing people in a rush toward other cities, neither of them turned to look. For the first time in 5 months, Ethan was not passing through. Ethan didn't go to sign at 10. He called. He said thank you. He said no. His boss told him he was crazy, maybe. Months later, on the shelf of an apartment that in the end didn't move anywhere, there's an old paper cup. The number on the cup. 10 digits written by hand, and a line below so that one day you'll order something different. Cassie put it there next to a jar of cuttings that one day will be the plants in a small coffee shop. A stay-a-while one, not a pass-through. And at the coffee shop across from the station every morning at 8, there is a new order. Not a black coffee, no sugar. It's a warm latte with a little cinnamon that Ethan came up with one afternoon, and that at the counter now has its own name. The usual, she asks him every day with a smile that already knows the answer. No, he says, something different. Which something different? The one with your name. The only one I order, and if one day you run out of cinnamon, I'll just stand here, looking at you until you find some. I'm not in a rush. I'm not one of the pass-through people anymore, says the man who didn't call me for 5 months. That man learned late. But he learned, he winks at her. Besides, where was he going? The best coffee in the city is right here. And the best barista. And my cup on the shelf. That cup is getting old, Ethan. We should throw it out. Don't even think about it. That cup pulled me out of hiding. And they both laugh because the new order carries her name, and every time Ethan says it out loud, it sounds like he's saying a lot more than just a coffee. And now I want to ask you before you get on with your morning, how many times have you ordered the same thing just because you were afraid to order what you really wanted? Leave it in the comments. I read them all,